It's October 19th, 2021. I'm sitting here. I watched a little bit of the entertainment news from CBS. John Grisham was on this morning. I have never heard anything spoken of the man. I don't run in book circles or clubs or anything like that. There's no social life here in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York. And I've been locked out of whatever. I've, again, read one of his books and made that clear. Now I'm sitting and I'm watching something called The Council, which is nyctv.gov. I'm assuming these are the humans in their human interaction in live format. I put up this morning about the radiological effects of living in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, while this is what's governing the city and has no interaction with me whatsoever. I find it interesting. There's a gentleman who is in a suit, and he's asking, not a valise, he's in a suit, and he's asking this woman questions. And the man says to the woman, he says, well, in the maps and the flooding, the predictions for the worst case scenario, which is a prediction service, for flooding in the city. Meaning, the gentleman asking the questions, which I would be okay with having this information, does not have access to this information, but this woman does. Why is that? It's part of my problem here in this radiological nightmare where they're now accepting on solar panels, because they think they earned equity and did a great job, unconditioned electrical charges that they're adding dangerously somehow into a wholesale system to then pass through to retail to fund themselves in some, we took part in it. Right, you took part in it. That's how we keep law enforcement busy, with hunting everybody down that took part in it to make sure they don't live another day. Because currently the radioactive interaction with the human is causing the humans in New York to have friction and static and biological changes that are unacceptable. And they shouldn't be forced to live through that just because you have some alternate agenda.
So it's both about how we build and where we build, right? And so all new buildings right now.
And here's a question. She keeps talking about new buildings. Why are they allowed to build anything new? Why are they not addressing the old issues? Why do they keep striving for new buildings?
Appendix G, which is one of the most flood resilient building codes in the entire nation. And we appreciate our partnership with council to make it that way. If a building goes through substantial rehabilitation, it would do the same thing.
I would not give them a single building code or a single building license ever.
Where we build and how we can,
based on the results of what I'm living through, and nobody seems to care or speak on it.
Called special coastal risk districts, which limit density in the most flood-prone areas. So this is to account for the fact that these are places that are flooding on a
Their flood that they're talking about is not electric. Their flood that they're talking about is water for storm drains and things, just so we're clear. Because I know that everybody seems to double talk between Ivory and Ebony Tower, but let's keep this clear.
Flood risk into account in all capital projects, including buildings projects.
Capital projects. Oh, that's a key word.
Design changes to ensure flood resiliency, while also taking into account the riskiest areas and applying special rules there.
How did they get in charge? I'm just curious.
Thank you. Last thing. The city released the stormwater resiliency plan and the stormwater maps back in May, I believe. The maps show both moderate to severe flooding from rain. The areas that flooded during the recent storms, how are they depicted on the flood maps? Are the maps
See, this is a suitcase, not a valise, or at least how he's presenting at that one meeting. So my question is, since he's in a suitcase at this one meeting in front of this other problem in humanity, my question is, why does this gentleman not have access to the future and the speculative version of worst case scenario on flooding? Why is the other woman withholding that information from this gentleman while I'm being held captive in one of the outer boroughs of Manhattan? Just curious, New York.
predict the level of flooding that occurred?
Yes, they did. There was a pretty significant overlap between the hardest hit areas and the stormwater flood maps. Specifically for the extreme scenario, there were two sets of maps that modeled two different scenarios, and there was an overlap with the extreme scenario. Some of the places that were shown on the maps that also were hit by the remnants of Ida include Central Queens, East Bronx, Central Brooklyn, and North Staten Island.
And I know that the plan has goals and initiatives with some completion dates not until 2027 and 2031.
We currently are in year 2021. He just said 2027 and 2031. But we're only in 2021. How does it go out that far? And why doesn't the gentleman have access to it?
And what we know will continue to occur.
Why are they
Do we
withholding
believe these
information
timelines should
that
be
is
accelerated?
really important?
Absolutely, I think.
Being that we're in like a
already
particle
acknowledged that the timeline should be
accelerator,
accelerated,
and
that's
it's
something that we're
radically
working through, with the
acting
Extreme Weather Task Force.
dangerously.
Okay. I want to be respectful of my colleagues' time. Obviously, I mean, we want to be partners in this. You know, I don't think it helps anyone to come here today and point fingers. Obviously, we want to know what went wrong, also what went right. But I think the main thing is we just don't want to be back here again, right? I feel like sometimes it becomes deja vu all over again, where, you know, I'm feeling like how many once in a lifetime things can I experience in a lifetime, or in a week, or in a month. But we want to be partners in this work, certainly with my committee and the committees here today. So just to make sure that we're prepared for next time and that this doesn't happen again, and that no pain, no gain. If people have to dig up streets to do sewer repairs, that's what we have to deal with. It's better than getting a basement full of sewage. So I want to turn it back to Chair Rodriguez. Thank you, guys.
I know that that's what they say these council meetings are about, and they seem kind of ridiculous on the surface, at least when I listen to them, they are. Except the more pertinent and important objective here is we don't just have water the humans can see. Water comes out of a tap. Water comes out of a tap, you block it, it fills up. Humans understand this. We open it, oh my god, it goes down. Easy to understand. Where it becomes difficult is when we talk about electricity that you can't see, and electricity that has to be conditioned to make sure that the flow, first of all, that electricity stays within the walls and doesn't dangerously zap you as you're trying to sleep or function within your environment. Also, that it stays on a flow schedule that's important and stable, and that it's not unconditioned electric that can cause biological damage. But these are things that really important people are in charge of and know of, but because of smaller integral parts that have been compromised or given over because they seem trivial to the wrong hands, it has now become an increasing danger, because now in order to take those jobs back, in order to take those functions back, to keep them and put them back into the quiet closet and just fix it for everybody's health, safety, and welfare, it's now become a struggle and an argument on a dangerous scale. So, I did a part of my epilogue this morning with the whole the static charge on my foot, which I'm not going to show again, but it's the hole in the sheet created by the friction that's created as I walk through this environment with the unstable conduit being my body interacting with unstable energy that's coming in from all different sources. Sometimes it stays on the outside, like right now, like, look, it's not coming in dangerously. But at times, it filters and I can't control it. I don't have a light switch that controls the dangerous amount of photon around my body. Radiological changes. This is hair. I was just sitting here earlier on my bed. I was putting my hair in a ponytail, and I just ran my hand down the ponytail, and out comes all of this hair. Just in large clumps. It just comes out in my fingertips as I touch my hair. These are not normal, healthy, environmental ways of being. I can even see right now the amount of particles and the light on the side of the way that it's reacting. It almost looks microbiotical in the way that it's dancing on screen. My face looks totally normal. But the way that it's interacting with the material and whatever's been on the material from me walking outside with this exact same sweatshirt and the reaction thereof is what's dangerous. So there is a flooding and there is a destabilization of electric or electrolysis process that is interacting because of these green initiatives and people putting policies in place in New York City because they're like tiny little treaties, but you don't know the backside of that treaty and double talk what's going on. It's causing more harm than good because now you're letting anybody harvest the dangerous sun level outside. It's then adding unstable electric, unconditioned electric, unsignatured electric into the system, and it's causing all sorts of destabilization results. But nobody's allowed to talk about it, and nobody is talking about it. So now they double talk in some side piece. But do you know how long it takes in order to organize something for like actual health benefits by conducting oneself that way? It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. So that's what I'm doing on this useless day, September 19th, 2021. As I'm trying to fix whatever this hole is and whoever I'm missing in importance that I haven't even met yet, just updating them as to whatever is running New York, whatever that was on that council, however that came about on the Rapoggle. I'm the one who was just born here, haven't been asked to vote, to have a say, haven't been brought into the conversation whatsoever, but yet I'm being affected by all the poor decisions everybody else who thought they could do a better job actually made and put into play, and it's now causing me health damage. And I still can't get to the level of people that I need in order to ask for help. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Catarusa.